In the family of smelly cheeses, there are probably only a few that will really make you go,
Oh!
well, I have no doubt, for me, Stinking Bishop beats them all. Crowned the smelliest cheese in the UK, Stinking Bishop gets its distinctive smell thanks to perry, which is a pear cider used to wash the rind of the cheese. The result? A moldy exterior, a squidgy texture, and an everlasting, pungent smell.
We're in the pear orchards of Dimmock, Gloucestershire, England, at the home of Stinking Bishop. It is from the fruits of these trees that the infamous perry cider is made. But while the perry gives the cheese its distinctive smell, I'm curious, will the cheese taste as strong as it smells? We're here to find out.
There is only one farm in the world that makes this cheese, Charles Martel and Son. And just like Stinking Bishop is a semi-soft cheese, its recipe is semi-secret. We know it starts with pasteurized cow's milk that is left in a vat for 4 hours with ferments and rennet. We also know that the rennet used is a vegetable rennet. This helps coagulate the milk without interfering with the flavor of the cheese, which an animal rennet will do. The milk comes from the local Gloucester cattle. The milk from this breed is particularly suited for cheese making because during the coagulation process, its cream doesn't rise to the surface and get lost within the whey. Rather, it stays down in the milk and it will make the final cheese much richer. When the curd has reached the size of a nut, it is transferred into molds. This is the first secret step of the process. At the end of the molding, this tower of empty molds that you see behind me will be full of curd. And after a certain amount of time, that is also secret, the cheeses will be moved to the maturing room.
Okay, this is the moment of truth. Let's see.
Smelly?
Oh! It. Wow. Well, it's not as bad as I thought. It doesn't smell bad. It just has a strong smell, I think. Yeah, that's pungent.
Lots of people describe as old smelly socks.
Okay.
Which is a bit, disgusting. But actually, when you eat the cheese, it's really nice.
Yeah?
And you can't taste the smell. You can just taste the cheese, which is nice and smooth.
It fills up your nostrils and just stays there.
With that smell still very much up in my nostrils, Justina talks me through the most important step of the making of Stinking Bishop, washing it in perry. This is done when the cheese is 1 day old. Old enough to hold its shape, but young enough to absorb the flavors of the perry.
How often do you do this? How often do you wash it in perry?
Only once.
Only once?
Only once,
Oh,
yes.
And that's enough just to, make everything that the cheese is. All right.
Well, it's alcohol.
Yeah.
And also you can smell the aroma of the perry, so you don't want to have this too strong at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And this washing, is there a method to it, or is just, you caressing the cheese
Yes.
and enjoying the work?
Putting my love to
yesterday's
it.
work.
Yes.
The molds around the cheese are made of beechwood. You may ask, why? We don't know. That's another secret that the makers wouldn't share. My guess is that this helps the cheese keep its shape, of course, without being too rigid and thus allowing the cheese to retain some moisture. Like other semi-soft cheeses, and this we know for sure, Stinking Bishop wheels age for 2 to 3 weeks and they are turned regularly to ensure both sides mature equally.
So this is the finished cheese that still smells even though it's
Yes, the
it's
cheese
packaged.
always smells, yes. So this is the ready cheese.
Oh wow. Oh, that's quite. Oh, it's beautiful actually, no?
Yes,
It's it looks like one of those like eyeshadow palettes or something. But it has nice shades of yellow and red.
Yellow, red, yes, a bit of orange.
Yeah, it's kind
pink.
of sparkly, no?
Yes.
So all this is because of the washing in perry plus your secrets,
Yes, yes.
And I mean, is it a coincidence that the perry itself, it's kind of reddish?
Yeah, it's probably coming a bit from the perry itself.
So what's the deal with this perry? Well, around Gloucestershire there are over 100 varieties of perry pears, which are smaller than your average pear. I know, these are blossoms, but pears were not in season when we visited. Anyway, turning them into perry is quite a common thing here. The pear the stinky bishop baits in is called stinking bishop. Unlike what you might think, this pear doesn't stink.
Most perry pears are little hard things like that. You know, if you threw somebody and hit them, it hurt because they're so heavy and dense, little tiny things. But the stinking bishop pear is more pear-shaped and more juicy. It makes a good early perry because it's got high sugar. It ferments very quickly, and so it's got a reputation of being a very strong pear.
All right.
Named after Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop was rather an unsavoury character, and so he earned the name Stinking Bishop.
All right. So that has nothing to do with actual bishops.
No.
Yeah.
But bishops love it. Lots of bishops give each other presents of Stinking Bishop because
It comes back. Yeah.
they think it's funny, and it is. You know.
Jokes, secrets and smell aside, the story of Stinking Bishop is not really about making a cheese that will make headlines. Rather, it is about making something that could save its very source, the milk from Gloucester cattle, which risk disappearing.
Notice you've got a black head and black legs, but the body's brown. That's
Okay.
a mark of the breed, and they've got this white stripe and a white tail.
Okay. So all Gloucester cows have a white tail.
White tail, yeah, a little white streak and a white belly. Well, when I started here 50 years ago, there were 68 left in the world.
In the world.
And I thought, gosh, you know, they can't be let to become extinct. How can I help them? I managed to get hold of 3, which I milked by hand. And I thought, I know, they're originally a cheese-making breed. We'll make cheese. It was my way of helping the breed survive. Not just by breeding them, but by using them. And that's the way they'll survive, if we use them.
Oh, thank you. So do you eat the rind?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
that's where the most intense part of the flavour is.
Oh, all right. So they just have. Oh,
A bit cold.
I
That's
love
all right.
it. It's really nice.
Flavour's gone in, isn't it?
Yeah. No smell at all.
No?
No. I mean.
Not supposed to say that.
Yeah. You know, like when you
It's
said
not
you can't taste the smell because the smell can put you off. But this taste, I really love it. I don't know. It reminds me of some cheese I used to eat when I was a child. It's just the texture in your mouth. A bit creamy, but not too runny, so not too messy.
The flavour goes in from the rind, obviously, because on the rind is the culture, which is where you get the flavour.
Yeah.
The building where we're tasting the cheese is a distillery, and yes, you guessed it, this is where perry is made. Charles tells me that his distillery is 400 years old. He even showed me some property documents from 1810.
Built in 1650, so it's the oldest original distilling house still working in the British Isles.
Oh,
Yes.
is it?
We know of no other older.
The pear cider or perry that is used to wash the rind of the cheese is later turned into the sweet pear spirit called poirot, which is made out of perry and fresh pear juice.
Cheers.
Can you say it in Italian? Cheers.
Salute.
Salute.
Sweet.
It's sweet, but not sugar sweet. That's
No,
pear
yeah.
sweet. I know, Biggie. I know.
So peaceful here.
Yes. Those are the peace. They're peaceful.